Happy Thursday. We are live. So, just going to get my second device going here so I can follow along for any comments. Just bear with me. You will probably see that I am alone today. Unexpectedly, my partner in crime here, Jody, was supposed to be with me, but she has a meeting that is going on and on and on right now. So here I am, just me, and I'm going to take you through overcoming objections today. So welcome everybody. Yesterday we had a bonus, a bonus Train.Lead.Grow where we had Mia White on. So if you haven't seen it, go back and look in the replay. And we talked about mindfulness in the workplace. Mia's brilliant, by the way. Comes across very easy to understand the value in mindfulness and how to apply it in your life. So whether it's in the workplace or at home, I shared a little bit of my story yesterday with my experience with mindfulness therapy actually, and how much it's changed my life over the last 4 or 5 months with stress and anxiety that I've battled my entire life. I've never had it so under control like I have it now, and it's easy to apply. So again, if you didn't see the bonus weekly Train.Lead.Grow from yesterday, go back and look at the replay. But today, we are finishing off our 5th anchor from the sales training that I provide corporations and that I have available for individuals online. And what I'm going to talk about today are 5 simple steps. And let's start here. So first of all, I'm just going to have a quick look here to see what we're dealing with, okay, in case there's any comments. Okay, first of all, back and organized. What's really critical thing to understand about objections is that they're normal and they're going to happen. Think about all the people that you call and reach out to or that proactively come into your sales center or your business, and think of how many of them buy and don't buy. So by definition, you're not going to qualify and close 100% of the people, and no one's going to ask you that. And so that's the one knock I put against overcoming objections that we've understood through the years in sales training is it's almost like it's a mandate. You must overcome objections. And again, I heard one person on a sales seminar, and when I looked into their background, they've actually never sold, so that made a lot of sense. They became certified as a sales trainer, but none of their experience was in actual selling. And again, I don't critique that, but what I say is until you've been in the world, you don't understand it. Now can you layer behaviors in training and become a certified trainer to do all that? That's the perfect world. But this individual said, I'm going to teach you how to never take no for an answer. Bullshit. No's happen. Okay? And what I'm going to reset for you today is how do you attempt to overcome that objection? That is the non-negotiable. When you hear no, you have to try and find out why, and you have to try and overcome the objection. And if you cannot, then it's okay to understand that that customer won't close. You know, there's a lot of things that happen in a sales and marketing funnel, right? So there's a lot of people out there that have organizations that do marketing separately, either in-house or a third party, and they do sales separately, either in-house and a third party. And there's accountability for individual departments that are supposed to work together. Okay? And what's going to happen in that world when it's divided is marketing is going to have initiatives that they're held accountable to awareness and conversion to the website or conversion to the retail store. And sales then has to take over and take care of every one of those customers. Here's what happens is as great as marketing may be doing, they may not be driving quality leads. It just happens. Not 100% of the leads are going to be great. And if you're using a third-party marketing firm that isn't accountable to actually the transactions going through the tail or the contracts being signed, they're going to get stuck up on their KPI, which is awareness and traffic, right? They're going to try and sell you on impressions and hits to the website. Well, if you can't convert those people, it's one of two things. The wrong people are being driven to your business, or your sales behaviors aren't aligned. So what I'm going to help you with today is aligning those sales behaviors. All of that being said, not everyone pushed through your funnel is going to be a true prospect. But if you followed the 4 steps I've shared in earlier lunch and learns, you're gathering more and more information to validate whether that client's a real sales opportunity. And eventually you will come up against an objection. And what we're going to reset for you today is to have the confidence to deal with an objection, to win it more often than you lose it, but know if you've lost it, it's because the customer isn't a fit and it was both of your decisions, okay? So if you've had past training where you're like, oh my God, I don't know how to deal with it when people say no, and my boss tells me that no's not an answer, you got to turn it into a yes. I'm going to try and teach you how to turn it into a yes with the reality of knowing that you can let the prospect go when you've attempted to overcome that objection and you can't. So I'm going to give you the best of both worlds today. So what's the first of 5 steps when we're overcoming objections? So it's so different without having Jody here. Is she off her call yet? She guides me so much better through these things. But first step, what you want to do is you want to understand how to ask an open-ended question to confirm the objection. Okay, so let's say in this case, the objection showed up at the end. You've done step 4, you're doing the proposal that I've shared in the past. You've positioned quality and service. You've given them a boomerang fact to stand out. And now you paraphrased, and now you came to them with your price and they said, no, I'm not going to move forward. Okay. The first thing you have to do very simply is ask an open-ended question to confirm that objection. That would look like, well, that's unfortunate because I felt like we were a fit all along and things were going well, but I do want you to be satisfied. Can you tell me why you won't move forward today? That's an example of an open-ended question that the customer has to give you a reason. Once you can get the reason, you can validate it, you can get it on the table, and you can start to deal with that. Again, so your first step, very simply, is ask an open-ended question to confirm the objection. And if you don't get that, keep probing, right? So if you say, oh, well, you know, what's holding you back today? Oh, I don't know, I'm just not ready to move forward. Okay, I understand, and I want you to be prepared to be moving forward. What is it that's making you not want to move forward? Well, I'm just not there. I'm not ready to make a decision. Okay, can you talk to me about what information you need to be able to make a decision? And all these things are getting them to go a little deeper. Sorry, and that was close-ended, just caught myself. Rephrase that to say, what information would you need to be comfortable making a decision? So ask that open-ended question to get the objection on the table. And an open-ended question, if you're new to sales or it just hasn't been literally explained to this degree to you, is a question that cannot be answered with a yes or a no. It encourages dialogue. Okay, so you got number 1. And number 1 says, hey, it's just too expensive for me. I can't move forward because you're more expensive than my current provider. So even though I've spoke about quality and service and we've done all that dialogue, it still comes down to price. And that's the objection. So it's out and it's on the table. Let's deal with price because quite frankly, price is the one that comes up the most for those of us in sales. All right, here's step number 2. So if I've heard you correctly, through this conversation, you love our offering. We were going to deliver the quality you needed, and it's the following 3 factors. We also talked about the service, access to a 24-hour software system that tracks your shipment, ability to call me between 9 and 5 as your dedicated account rep, and automatic rebates on deliveries that weren't sent in on time with a penalty of X, whatever that services may be. And so if I'm hearing you correctly, the only thing holding you back is price. Is that correct? Now what I've done is I've paraphrased while confirming the objection. What does that do? Well, if there's anything else, it gets it on the table. So if they're telling you price, but it's really they're afraid of like changing the existing supplier because they have relationships with other people in head office, that's going to come out on the table. So again, paraphrasing, well, quality was good, these 3 things, service. And if I'm hearing you correctly, the only reason we're not moving forward today is the price doesn't fit your budget. Is that correct? Great. So now I got the open-ended question to get the objection on the table. I've confirmed it through paraphrasing. And what I've done is I validated that everything else is good. We were good on everything, but price is in the way. Why do I want to do that? Here's step number 3. The next step, once you've confirmed the objection, you've paraphrased it back, you've confirmed that that's the only thing holding the client back, is to get their commitment that if you solve that objection, they'll move forward. Before you jump to try and solve the objection, You confirm. So if I've heard you correctly, you love our definition of quality. We can provide what you need. You love our software system tracking your shipment. You love the fact that you have a 9 to 5 direct line to me. And you love the fact that you have that instant rebate for any delivery penalties for shipments being late. And if I heard you correctly, price was the only problem. You just confirmed that with me. So if I can solve the price issue, you'll move forward with me? And now we've got it on the table, we have commitment. What does that do? Why is that important? Now I don't get repeated objections, but if there's anything else left, they're going to put it on the table because they're committing to that being the issue, that if you can solve it, they'll move forward. So again, let me take you back through the first three because I know I'm rattling off a lot at you here quickly. Number one, ask an open-ended question that can't be answered with yes or no to confirm the objection. Number two, confirm the reason for that objection through paraphrasing while adding value to everything else the client liked. Number three, get the client bought in that if you can solve that objection, they'll move forward. Okay. Now you're really at the stage where you want to overcome the objection. And here's what a lot of sales professionals do. They don't do number 1, 2, and 3. And so they don't get confirmation of why. They assume what's holding them back and they'll jump right to price. Oh, you don't want to buy today because it must be my price. What if I give you a discount? And the reality is, if you don't do number 1, the objection may just be in your service offering. Instead of discounting your price, you got to recommunicate something you missed in the sales presentation or find a solution to solving their service concern. And then you're not going to impact your margins. But again, a lot of sales professionals jump to, well, they seem to like everything, so it must be price. And we deal with a price objection that may be a value objection, not a price objection. Okay? So those 3 steps have now set you up properly to try and overcome the objection. So let's take the example of price. Now, for some organizations that I've worked with, they give the sales professional runway. They know their margins, or they're even willing to get a transaction at low to no margin to get the more beneficial work in the future. For some organizations, they can't do it at all. For some organizations, they got to go back to their manager and get approval. But bear with me here. I'll give you some scenarios on price. So let's assume in scenario 1, I've got a range, right? And I've put down what I think is fair to protect my margins, get a decent commission as a sales professional, and is fair in market value. And I put the anchor in at $100 for product X. But I know I could have gone as far as 110 and asked for more, but I can go as low as 90. Now that I've got those 3 objections on the table, what I'll more than likely do is communicate the solution with a value add. What does that look like? Well, before I go down to 90, what I might ask the customer is, you know what? I'll see if I can get some approval so we can really demonstrate the value we provide. I'll do this as a one-time offer, so you can really see the value we provide for that price, but I know you need trust to get you in the door. What I'd like to do is call you back tomorrow and see if I can sharpen the pencil. Can you tell me what your range is? Now, if the customer would come back and say, I can't go any higher than $95, great, I hang up the phone, I validate with my manager, or I recalculate my margins, and I call back the next day and I say, you know what, I can do it for $95. Under the condition that if I deliver the value that you provide and you're seeing it, we can reprice on the next contract. How do you feel about that? Now, the client may say, no, it's $95 or nothing. And then I'm making a conscious decision to go to the lower end of my price range and book at $95 and get less of a margin. Or I'm walking away from the deal because it's not good for me. And now I've attempted to overcome the objection and both of us have decided it doesn't work. But if you have that leeway, that's how you handle that. The next one is, hey, is going through all the quality and service and it's truly price is all that's left and I confirm that you'll go forward with me. My next step may be, hey, listen, I need to speak to my manager. I'm going to give you a shout back because I really think we're a fit. I think we could do great business together. And here's what I need to do. So I need to go back and have that dialogue. I can't make you any promises. I'm going to talk to my manager to see if we can get you in at your price point. And the most I'm going to be able to do is $90. But let me take that away and see if I can get some confirmation on that. You go back. If the manager says, no way, it's $100, there's no debating it, it's low margin work, we don't want to pursue it, or it's close to no margin work, we don't want to pursue it, or the manager's going to say, you can do a one transaction trial, and then they got to go back up to $100. Whatever that direction may be, if your scenario is you need further approvals, You tell the customer you're going to see what you can do, and you'll come back knowing its price. And then you come back and you present to the customer your solution. The value add that you want to always add on is, what are they getting for that price? And that value add may be reiterating your boomerang fact. It may be reiterating the quality and service value equation and what they're getting for that price that traditionally is worth $100. Now, let's say it's scenario number 3, and you can't do anything on price. You just can't. It's $100, and they don't want to pay more than $100. Sorry, they don't want to pay $100 in this made-up widget example. I'm going to go back through and I'm going to say, listen, you know what? Just to reiterate, here's what you get, and here's why we charge $100. This is the value provided, and if you choose to find someone and you can find the value you need at under $100, I completely respect that decision. But again, I feel we give you more than enough value for $100. So would you like to move forward at $100 today? And if they say no, the price is really $90 or I can't do it, hey, that's great. Listen, let's stay in touch. If your current provider has a gap in their services or doesn't have the resources, I'm a phone call away, and I'd like to check in with you in 6 months and see how you're doing. The point of those first 4 steps is get it on the table, confirm it, paraphrase it back, get their buy-in that you can solve the problem, they'll move forward. When you come back with the solution, put in a value add, and then step number 5 is confirm the objection's been eliminated and move forward, close the sale. So let's assume I'm selling to that customer in scenario number 1, and I have the empowerment as a sales professional go down to $90 to win the work. I may come back and say, hey, listen, you know what? I thought about it. I really think we're a fit, and I really think you just need to see it. Although the price is fair value at $100, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you have a trial, okay? And I want you to experience our service. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a 3-month contract at $90. I can go that low, but I can't go $1 lower, in fairness. And what I'd like to do is at the end of 3 months, let's revisit that when you know the value is really at $100. But let's get your business in so you can experience it and lower your risk from a budget perspective and see what we can deliver. Does that sound good to you? Okay, let's move forward with the contract. So here's, when you put those 5 steps together, think about the 4 steps that we talked about in earlier conversations, right? Everything was about inquiry versus advocacy and the balance. And to take you back to those first few steps, inquiry is investigation. It's finding out more. It's researching. It's understanding what the client needs. What's their unique problem that you can solve? What have they been searching for? What is their business? What are their priorities? And advocacy is going in and demonstrating through proof how you can help their customized problem, not spit out your services. It's tailoring your approach to those needs and showing how it's worked for other people and how you can deliver the same. So everything's about inquiry versus advocacy in those first 3 steps that we talk about. And then in the 4th step, it's a little more advocacy of positioning the offering and putting it on the table. Well, overcoming objections is a nice 50%. It's 50% inquiry and it's 50% advocacy. I got to find out why you're objecting. I got to find out what it's going to take to move you forward. I got to find out if you're comfortable moving forward. And now I need to advocate how I'm going to overcome that objection. So if you look at the 5 steps, and honestly, it's in my leadership training, the same piece, it's all about that fine art of, quite frankly, being a human being and finding out what somebody needs and how you can support them in that. And overcoming objections are no different, okay? So overcoming objections are not a bad thing. Overcoming objections, you hear the saying that, the no gets you 1 step closer to the yes. All of that's true, but it's not every time. So again, if you get a price objection, and in my sales trainings, I wish Jody was here because I promised I'd do a Stump the Chump with all of you. And so if any of you have been through my sales training, you have seen my exercise that I do Stump the Chump with. And what I do, whether I'm working with a logistics company for the first time, a retailer, a vision therapy clinic, a real estate brokerage, a cleaning services provider, whatever that depth of construction, the depth of clients that I have, that exercise I do in every industry. I don't know what the participants are going to say, right? So I take them through the training and I said, let me prove it. Let me prove you how you can attempt to overcome the objection properly and demonstrate these behaviors. And I walk around the room and I'll walk up to somebody in, let's pick an industry I haven't worked in yet. So I've worked with optometrists, I've worked with retail, logistics, brokerages, telecommunications, construction, cleaning service. Okay, let's try and find something I haven't done. Okay, let's assume I'm working with a marketing firm. There's one. I actually have not worked with a marketing agency on business development and helping grow their customer base. So there are all you marketing agencies out there. I'm here. But let's assume I'm in a room like that, and the agency team is around the group that's responsible for business development, and they're playing Stump the Chump. And they're going to walk around, they're going to ask a bunch of questions, and I'm going to go, okay, what's yours? And they're going to say, well, we don't want video services. We found someone in the United States who does it cheaper than our in-house creative. That's the objection to that service. Okay, so I demonstrate the steps. So let me ask why you're not moving forward with us today. Well, as I mentioned, like the cost of your video services to create the content versus a provider to get out of the US is significantly more expensive. Okay, so if I heard you correctly, you love the fact that we can help you with the copywriting, the story, redesign of your website, get your social media messaging aligned. But when it comes to the video content portion of the proposal, you want to step away from it because the price isn't right for you. Did I hear that correctly? Yep, you did, Mark. We love everything else, but price isn't there. Okay, so if I can help you with the price component on that video piece, would you be willing to move forward with the work? Well, of course. I mean, I'm telling you, if you can get to a lower price, yeah, we would probably move forward on this project. Okay, so here's what I need to do. Now, we've given you a full proposal, and it's a healthy proposal, and it's a fair proposal. But there's multiple components in it. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to go back to my vice president of sales, and I'd like to position where the long-term relationship might be with both of us and see if I can sharpen the pencil on that video component. So quite frankly, we can do all the other quality work together. If I can create a better price from that, you'd move forward, right? You had said that? Yeah, great. Okay, let me get back to you tomorrow. And then I go back and I come back, and in the room I'd say, okay, so I was able to come back with video services reduced at 25%. Now, I still know that's a little more expensive than your US provider, but the good news is it's going to be consistent with all the rest of the branding that we're doing. Would you like to move forward with the video component? Now, again, if the video component is a showstopper, I might not win that objection. But I've attempted to overcome it by getting it on the table, confirming it, asking if they'll move forward if I solve it, coming with a solution, and then asking for the sale again. And I do this Stump the Chump with everybody in every room, and I either get one of two pieces of feedback. Wow, you look easy. Or two, but the customer still said no. Yes and yes. It is that easy. It is that comfortable to perform the behaviors, and you will win some of the work you would have lost. But yes, indeed, a customer may still say no. And that's okay. You validated that it's there. You've gone through it. You've positioned your value. At the end of the day, the timing isn't right with that client. Having said that, if you perform the 5 behaviors in attempting to overcome objections, you're going to save and win more work than you are today. I guarantee it. And you're going to give a better customer experience. But please, I would never, ever, ever recommend physical violence. But as an expression, please slap the next sales trainer that you hear tell you never accept no for an answer. I can't tell you how much you're damaging your brand. I can't tell you how much you're damaging your customer experience. And I can't tell you how disappointed a client will be if you've put them into an offering that provides them no value, and how quickly they're going to tell other people you did it. Be ethical, be trained, perform the behaviors. You will win the work. You just will not overcome every single objection. It's the reason in my training I call it attempt to overcome objection, because the non-negotiable is walking away when you hear no. You cannot. You need to find out why. And you need to find out if it's just positioning on the value statement, or a service that you can provide, or an objection that you're handling and you can overcome, so you and the customer, who are a great fit, can indeed work together. But you won't win every time. If a customer is $8 and your products cost $24, you're not going to win it. But what you want to do is you want to validate that it's on the table, that that's truly what's holding them back. And again, remember, 4 steps I've showed you in sales that are in the training that we've done little micro shots of training here in these sessions for half an hour. They're narrowing that funnel anyways. So the more you get following the first 4 behaviors that I showed you, the more the objections will show up early and will either not even become a prospect or disqualify quickly with both of you on the same page that you're not a fit. The further you get down the funnel, the easier it should be to close the transaction and the less objections you should have. There you go. Man, I miss Jody being here. I used to do these alone, and now I'm doing them alone again just for one day. But I realize how much fun she is to have on these and how much value she provides by triggering my thought process instead of me just reading off what I do. So there you go. If you have any questions, by all means, reach out. I hope everybody has a phenomenal Thursday. It is 12:28, and because Joe isn't here, I'm finishing early. But if you have any questions, reach out. All the best. Cheers, everybody.